Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Nala. I am a part of the Seguras crafts team and I would love to introduce this beautiful card that I created using the Stitch fan card front from Spellbinders and a few cardstocks from the Seguras crafts line. I love my cardstocks. They have this very shimmery look, and so they very much speak to me in a different way. And you can use any cardstock that you have, and I love the fact that the dies that Spellbinders have allows you to be able to use them in multiple different ways. You can choose to follow their example on the front of their die, or you can decide to switch it up. For this demonstration, I'm going to do, for most part, the same of what's in front of the graphics of the example of the die. I liked how the purple and the pink, because you guys know I love my purple and pinks. I am going to change the white for navy, and I'm not going to use the etched center part. I'm actually going to leave that one blank, and that was the little twist that I did. I did do a little bit of stitching. It was very, very thick string, but I could not use as much as I would have, I think, if I had a thinner string, but you'll see as we go. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So very first, I want to let you know the colors that I use for the cardstock. And we have the Crystal Vision Purple, the Petal Whisper Pink, and Anthracite, which is ultimately black, but has a nice shimmer to it. And then we have some navy. Now, I was doing this project from a more painful place. I was dealing with some stuff at the time. And so it is very symbolic to me, but for the sake of this video, I will just show you how I placed the card together, the things that I switched up in the card, and see where my mind was and how I was thinking at the time. The very first thing I did is I die cut everything. So I knew that I wanted the corners to be blue, and I went ahead and I used some washi tape and tried to use, because all of my cardstocks, I already pre-cut them down to A2 size. So I was like, oh, please make it, please make it, please make it. And it did. So it's perfect A2 size card. It was great. And went ahead and I pre-die cut all of the pieces and had them ready to go to kind of help make it a whole. So as you can see right here in the corner, I have die cut all the pieces, and I did even die cut that center piece and then decided not to use it. I thought about it and I just changed my mind. But the very first thing I wanted to do is I knew that I was going to stitch on top of the purple and incorporate it into the navy blue. And I was going to use white because I love incorporating as much white into different things when it comes to crafting for my own personal needs. And white for me is purity, and it's coming from a place of pure. So I went ahead and I already took some thread that I had. Now, I think if I was to do this again, I would definitely untwist the strands and make it a lot thinner, because this was pretty thick. It was pretty thick piece of string. So as you see here, I'm trying to figure out how I wanted everything to go. And I'm trying to figure out do I want it to have that back piece? Did I want it in the front? Did I want to cut the middle out? I'm kind of just testing everything out to see how it's gonna work, because I've never really done these stitched ones before, and I've had this for so long, and can you believe that this is the first time I opened it? Like, how many of us do that where we have things that we could not wait, we purchase, and we never use them? So I was like, okay, I'm going to use this. I've been wanting to use it for so long now. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna use it today. And so I was like, oh my God, I forgot how to use this. I've seen videos so many times, but completely forgot how to use it. And when I decided that I was going to leave the blank as just a white template, I was like, I could put the sentiment right there in the center. So I used a sentiment from the Unfiltered Friendship. This is from Seguras Crafts as well. And I had it set to the side because I figured, okay, when I get to that point, I will get to that point. And so I went ahead and I started to glue things together. So at first I was going to use some spray adhesive, and then I decided, liquid glue is probably best because you're gonna have to line the punctured holes up if you're trying to sew on top of it, right? So I went ahead and I used the liquid glue to line it all up and held it down so that it could make sure that it was nice and sealed so that it would not be removed when I am going at it. So here I am starting the sewing process, and I was watching Mulan, and I was going to put it in the video so you guys can hear me singing, but it's so awful and I don't want to mess up your TV or any type of audio devices that you're listening to this to. So I was like, nope, I'm not gonna let them see that because this is horrible. It's just a horrible singing. But I was in my own place at the time, and I decided to, like, some of them were like the borders I was skipping, and then when towards the edges I went into each hole and then into the center. And then when it came to the border, I just skipped around. And that's kind of the pattern that I just kept. I didn't really have a reason for it. Actually, it might be because it was so thick that I was just like, this might not work. Let me just do it this way. And I liked it. It came out pretty nice. So once I got to the center, right, as you see here, I went ahead, pulled it right back through. And I skipped over that center hole and went straight to the end, and I wanted to try to repeat that same pattern that I did on the other side. So I figured that was the best way to do it, and it worked. I think there was like one little flaw, but you really can't tell unless you are me and you're looking at everything. But it ultimately it worked. And then I went to the center and I did my own little pattern in the center. When it came to the back, I just kind of did a small little knot tie, and like that's when I took the strings apart ultimately. And I did a little knot tie and made sure it was good. And I knew I was going to be popping them up, so I was like, oh, it looks fine. But I like the design. It worked for me. So if you have any thinner string, I definitely recommend a thinner, a much thinner thread, or taking your thread apart that you might have or that you're using if you're using one like mine's, and go to town with it. Just enjoy yourself. So with the power of technology and cameras and recording, I'm passing over all of the threading because you saw how I did it, and I just repeated the same thing for the one on top. I'm going to go into stamping. So I went ahead and I used my MISTI. I placed my centerpiece in my MISTI tool. I do have a gel mat inside that's keeping it held down and preventing it from moving when we stamp. And I went ahead and I stamped in your emotions are valid, and so is your ability to handle it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. It was actually your emotions are valid, but remember, so is your ability to handle it. That's what it is. Let's try this again. Your emotions are valid, but remember, so is your ability to handle it. So it's definitely something that we tend to forget. We go through moments, and I know that for me at least, I go through that moment and I completely forgot that there's moments where I felt like this and I felt like I wasn't going to get past it. So this sentiment definitely meant a lot to me. So I went ahead and I wanted to make sure it was a crisp stamping. And I moved on to the next process, assembling our card. I knew I wanted to pop it up at different layers. So I did take the top and the bottom part and I put some foam dots to it, and that also helped to handle any bulkiness from the string. And I placed it at the bottom, and then I popped up using the same foam tape on top. Then with the centerpiece, I used a much thicker foam tape, and that helped to kind of give it that little elevation and kind of let the sentiment kind of be the pop-up, right? Like, don't forget, you got this, you can handle this. And good, it's looking good. And I notice now, I don't know if I said that before, but I did not sew the center of the purples. I think I said I did, but I didn't. And I'll show you what I did with it instead. So I was trying to see if I wanted to use the other pieces, and ultimately I decided I wasn't going to. But gems, guys, you know I love my gems. So I went ahead and I took some crystals that I had. These are rhinestones. I did use 2 different types of rhinestones in this card. So for the outer layer of my pink centerpiece, I decided to use the Opal Glow rhinestones to line up the outside dots that you would have sewn in, right? And I had little accents of the Aurora Gleam rhinestone. And I used that rhinestone, which is a more clear white line rhinestone, and I used that to cover the dots on the purple, and as well as do like a top, bottom, and then left, right, kind of across of the sentiment, right? And then the Opal Glow rhinestone, I also placed at the center of the connections where we did the sewing and kind of continuously went back to, so that center that has multiple strings going out. I went ahead and I placed one on those as well. And at the bottom and top center, well, the bottom center of the half circle, which is the purple area. And I think that added the perfect amount of shine, and it helped it to stand out, and it also made me not feel too bad about not sewing it all in. But this is the finished card. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please put a thumbs up if you did like it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see more content. I am so looking forward to seeing you guys next time, and don't forget, you are beautiful, you matter, and your life is the art of this world. Don't forget to add us on social media so you can see more projects and also projects from our design team. Talk to you guys later. Bye.